I'd like to welcome everybody to Steve Tees Off. I would like to also say a big thank you to riversidegolf.ca and Ken Poirier and his crew down at Riverside Golf in South Surrey. Check them out online, riversidegolf.ca. Ken and his crew are fantastic people. Today, we are very fortunate to have Matt Daniel in the studio. Welcome, Matt. Thank you so much for coming out today.
Thanks for having me, pal. Great to be here.
Fantastic. For those of you that cannot, I love, you're rocking the pants, man. They look cool. I hope everybody gets to take a really good look at that.
Okay.
And the reason is that when you rock like that, I always say this, you better be a player.
That's
right?
true.
You got to be a player.
They do say that.
They do say that. And you must be, I know you're a player. I know you're a player. So let's get right into the discussion here. And what I like to do with these is I want to talk about how you started in the game. I'm always interested in finding out where you started, how you picked up a club, where you grew up, all those kinds of things, because one of the big aspects that I harp on all the time is accessibility and people being able to start the game as a youngster. So let's just let's start where were you born? Where'd you?
Well, born in Vancouver, grew up in Richmond, Quilchena Golf Course, pretty popular course of kind of bringing up young up and coming players. A lot of great players came from there. You know, I'm a real sportsman. I grew up playing everything from the age of like 4. I was into hockey. I thought I was going to be a NHLer. Got into baseball. I wanted to play in the majors, the whole 9. And then, you know what's funny? I have no idea when I really got into it, but I do know I got my membership to Quilchena when I was 9.
9 years old.
9 years old, 9th birthday. And I went over there on my 9th birthday, and I honestly knew my first day there that I wanted to be a professional golfer. And I ended up quitting every other sport 2 or 3 years later and fully focused on golf. It was just day and night. That's all I did.
Were you just, when you picked up the golf club, were you a natural? Like, were you like?
I really was. I mean, my talent is sports. You know,
I'll tell you, the reason I ask you this question, Matt, is because I'm the same. That's how I can tell you the first golf teacher I had when I was like 8 years old, and I was fortunate, and I just could swing a golf club.
Yeah.
And I hate to say this because I don't want to discourage anyone from golfing, but some people, you know, you have to have that. And I'll talk about I could watch, if I watched you swing, I would try and emulate it if you were good, right?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
It's funny. We grew up, you know, like we didn't have coaches. I mean, I'm a coach now. There's a million coaches in the city now, everywhere. I don't know what it is now, but when we grew up, even some of the guys, like all my buddies ended up playing golf. I don't remember them being particularly gifted athletes, yet we all played pretty good golf. Like, you know, some were better than others, but we all just figured it out. I don't know really. I always try to kind of tap into that, into my coaching. Like, how did we make it seem so easy? I mean, yeah, I was a good athlete and it came fairly easily to me. But it's just a real funny thing how it's taught now, how complicated it has become. And
it's overcomplicated.
It's crazy.
It is.
And it's getting worse.
It is.
You'd think there'd be a rebound to kind of, you know what, it's a sport. We wrap up a paper and we throw it in the trash can in class and it's a cinch. We don't think about how we do it. It's like, I just can't figure it out.
It's interesting. Like I grew up in a time where, like, my father didn't start golfing till he was in his 40s. And I started golfing when I was 8. And I played hockey. I played baseball. Yeah. Grew up on the prairies. That's what you did.
Yeah.
And he was, you know, he's passed now, but he subscribed to Golf Digest. And he was, you know, he couldn't believe how I could hit the golf ball. Like, I mean, and I'm not bragging shit because I'm a hack. I'm still a hack. I consider myself to be a hack. But I can hit the ball.
Sure.
I know what the issues are. But he was a guy that he looked forward to that magazine all the time because he would page through it and he'd buy whatever shit that was in there.
Yeah.
Or I'd see him out in the backyard trying something, and he was just perplexed. He was always amazed at how natural I was at it. But the thing is, he was a great ball player. He was a great hockey player. He curled. He did all of that. He was an athlete, but he never, it just golf when it wasn't like you said, we didn't golf because we're poor. Like that was for rich people.
Yeah.
We weren't rich.
Sure.
And when we got money, I got you into golf kind of thing, because that's what you did and kind of thing. It was more of a business thing. But you're right in saying that it wasn't overthought. It was never like a driving range, for instance, there was no such thing. Like when I was a kid, there was no such thing. You shagged your own balls. You waited till the sun came down. You went to the first hole and you hit balls, and you had your old Adidas bag, and you picked them up by hand. You didn't even have one of those, and the thing is, you learned what you were doing wrong and you figured it out. Sometimes you were right. Sometimes you were wrong. Okay. And the thing about the game too is that the more that you practiced, the better that you got. And it wasn't specifically whatever, like everybody's swing is different. Like everybody does shit different. They do. They really do. They're not, we're not robots. Like we're not, but now like it's very easy to get sucked down the YouTube vortex of golf instruction.
Well, it's funny because to go back to your point there, it's we grew up playing. Both of us, we just said it. We grew up playing hockey. I grew up playing everything. We invented sports, ping pong, baseball. We combined sports, and there was no how-to. There was never a how-to. It was always just like fun. First of all, that probably was the key. Is we were just in the moment, having a good time, and it was. I don't know. I just think it was because we played baseball and we learned to play baseball. We threw a ball. Nobody really taught us how to throw a ball. Maybe we watched Willie Mays or whoever it was. And then we get into golf, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, what do we do here? Oh, we got to hit it there. Okay. So we look over there. Oh, here's the club. Maybe somebody shows you how to grip the club, but it didn't even matter. And then you just hit the ball to the target. What's the name of the game? Okay, let's go. Yeah. And that was it. And then the other thing about that is nowadays we're kind of taught how to do everything in life. Like kids aren't allowed to go out and explore and do all that, right? So they have to be taught how to do things rather than just go learn it. Go out and learn it.
I listen. Like one of the things. Okay, we talked a little bit. We should get back on topic here. Not that I'm not. We can talk for hours and hours and hours about this, but so you start at Cochina. Okay, and when did you realize that you were good at it? Like when I say good, you know what, I'm pretty good at this. When did you play in your first tournament?
Well, that's when it was. My first tournament was the Little Masters, which is still going now. The late Harry White kept it going for all these years, and it's still Brad Newell still does it on one of the junior tours. So I played. That was the only thing back then, and so that was the big event. And I was 10, and I played in I believe the under 12 division, and I ended up winning. And I just knew that I had it right away before that, but somehow I remember, and I don't remember much about it, but I do remember that tournament was like, okay, I just beat all the kids in Vancouver. I knew I was good, and now that proved it. And it's like, yeah, and let's go. Yeah. And I still have that. And I still play, and I travel and still do the Monday qualifiers, the PGA Tour, but I thought I would have been about the best player in the world. I really did.
So you finish high school. Okay. You're playing, and you played. I do know Brad well, Brad Newell real well. He's actually, I could show you video that he sent me over the last number of years of that old Masters of him handing out prizes and that kind of thing. Oh yeah. I know Brad real well.
Great.
And he talks so highly of Harry White.
He sure does.
And
amazing what he's done.
Yeah, amazing what. And so you finish, you're growing up, you're in high school, you're in Richmond. What's next? You end up going to school.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I played really well in junior. Had a lot of offers. Had a bit of a weird thing in high school happen. I had one class that I thought I was going to do well in, and I ended up not doing well. And so I didn't go to any of these schools. I ended up going to a junior college and did well there. I won 5 out of 7 events, and my game was real good. I went to College of the Desert in Palm Springs.
Yeah.
And so I played a ton of golf against pros. I was playing a lot of money games and stuff against pros. And honestly, I was beating them almost all the time. And I really felt like I was ready to turn pro. So I ended up turning pro when I was 20, I believe. 20 or 21.
What year was that?
97-ish.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was low Canadian in Q school, PGA Tour Canada. Canadian Tour it was called.
Yep.
I was low Canadian in Q school, and away we go. I thought I was off to the races, but it didn't really turn out that way.
It was a grind.
It was. I missed my first 10 cuts, and I was playing excellent. There was just something. I mean, I'm pretty in tune with. I kind of think a lot, too much for sure, and as I look back, I really believe I was afraid of success. I'm extremely confident in saying that. Not proud of it or not happy about it. But yeah, I was always a little bit afraid of success. And I think the reason was I kind of was a homebody, loved traveling, loved my buddies. I made so many good friends out there. But I still there was something about being at home that I really loved. So I don't know. I was always frightened of if I did so well that I would never be back home. I'd be on the road all the time. Something.
Well, it is, the one of the, and I say this, coming from where I come from on the prairies, where there's, hockey was the thing, right? Baseball was huge too, and like I remember as a kid, like I was playing senior and junior ball when I was 14 years old, and I was playing senior hockey when I was 14 years old. Because I was this size when I was like, everybody thought I was going to be humongous. You know what I mean? And there's one thing you can't teach in sport, and that's size.
Oh yeah.
And that doesn't mean that you have to be 6'5" to be whatever. It just, that's something that you don't think about. And I never thought about it at all. I really didn't. And golf wise, I was always able, like, I could pull shots out of my ass. Like, seriously, like, I was creative as hell.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I can't hit a straight ball.
Yeah.
Like
you love being in the trees.
Exactly. Eh? It's I can hit that duck hook around that oak tree. Like that's, I got that shot.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that was one of my problems, one of my issues. And the other thing was I hate practicing. Yeah. I hated it. I love to play. Practice. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like I go to the putting green, for 5 minutes, I'm bored.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, I made 3 putts in a row. I don't give a shit. Like, I just want to go out and play.
Yeah.
But the thing is that there was no, like, and I don't know, and this is one of the questions that, like, we can get to is that, when you turned pro, the guys, everyone that you were playing with and that you were, competing against, were they of the same mindset, meaning that, like, and I don't know what your practice regime, like what it was like, but what was your practice? Were you a guy that lived at the range and you were, or you just went, you know what, I'm feeling good today. I'm feeling it. I'm going to go with what I'm feeling. Like, I'll go to the driving range, for instance, before a round. And if I'm hitting a fade, I'm going to go with the fade.
Yeah, that's what Jack said.
I'm not going to try and force shit. Like I'm going to, so what was your regime like as you were turning pro and seeing this?
I was fairly famous for arriving right before my tee time and going right to the first tee. And People thought that was because I was like unorganized, but I tried to do it like everybody else. And like they told me, you had to get there an hour and change before, do your stretching, hit your putts, your blah, 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 and then go to the first tee in a good frame of mind. But I'm pretty weird. I used to like to get there late enough where I was a little bit worried about making my tee time.
Mm-hmm.
I went through a stretch of doing that anyways, where if I was a little bit worried about getting to my tee time, I didn't think about actually playing golf. I was worried about getting to the tee time. So it freed me up. Then I'd kind of rush to the tee, put the peg in the ground, and my best shot of the day was always my first tee shot.
Because you weren't thinking about
Weren't thinking.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. I used to just stripe it off every tee shot. And, looking back, it didn't really work very well, but I'll tell you, at the time, it felt great.
And now we live in in an environment where you can overthink things. Like it's like, like golfing's a lot like driving a vehicle. You're not necessarily thinking about it, but you're cognizant of it, right?
I use that to my students, How'd your mom, when I teach the kids, how'd your mom get to the golf course to drive you to the lesson? She wasn't thinking going left or right. She just knew where the destination was, and she got there, just trying to play a little more subconscious.
And do you you had some tournament wins. You had some wins. Actually, and there's one I want to bring up in specific. You won in Winnipeg.
I won in Edmonton, the big one,
but you did win in Winnipeg.
I have one in Winnipeg, and
it was a free press one because I'm from Winnipeg.
Yeah, that's a big event. I didn't win that event, but I did play quite well in there.
Okay,
and that is a great event, by the way.
And your first big win was the TELUS Edmonton Open. Is that right?
Yeah.
And who are some players that you remember
that I played against well in that one? I mean, that story is worth talking about just in general. But there were guys, Aaron Barber and Nathan Green, couple PGA Tour guys that weren't standouts, but they played on the PGA Tour that were battling me in that tournament. I don't know. I always had an interesting way of knowing who was going to make it. It was really, I still have it. I can tell you who's going to make it. And guys like Brad Fritsch, he's a Canadian. He made it. He played a couple of years at least on the PGA Tour. I played with him, and I said he's going to make it. And it was not how great he was. He had a good game, but it was not particularly better than the others. But there's just something. And for him, it was patience. He was just really, you could tell he had belief in himself. He'd make bogey, and there was just that sense that it was like, yeah, I'm going places. This is fine. I'll be back. And yeah, so, there was a lot of good players. I mean, Steve Alker, who's running basically the best player on the Champions Tour. He played the Canadian Tour for years with me, won our money list forever. We all thought he was going to make it to the PGA Tour. I think he played out there, but never really did anything. And now he's probably the best player on the Champions Tour outside of Stuart Sink, I guess. Yeah.
This is a question that you get into. There's a grind, and how much of when you're playing, because I didn't play professional golf, obviously. I said, like, I'm a hack, and I admit that freely.
Yeah.
And I know if I wanted to get better, what I have to do, I'm just not prepared to do it. Meaning that,
sure,
you're going to spend, like, you're going to be like, Tiger Woods, until you make those 100 putts, those 5-foot 100 putts in a row, you can't go home.
Yep.
Or you can't eat. That kind of shit.
Earl. Yeah.
Not doing that.
No.
You know what?
Most aren't.
That's right. Most aren't. And so the ability when you're playing tour golf, tournament golf, and you're professional. It's a grind. It really is. And it's it's the purest form. I say this so often, a meritocracy. Like if you
Oh yeah.
you got to play well, and you got to go low, and you got to get used to shooting low too, over and over and over again.
No question.
And and we're talking Masters weekend here too now. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And I watched the highlights, a little bit of the highlights yesterday. It'll be interesting. It's always interesting to watch that tournament play out.
Amazing. It's the greatest tournament.
It is.
I watched every second yesterday. Took a look this morning. I got my guys. They're doing okay. Scheffler looks good. I think he's 1 under through 9 today. 4 back.
Who's leading right now?
Rory's still Rory and I've forgotten.
Shit.
Burns, Sam Burns.
Yeah.
Who kind of got robbed in the US Open.
Yeah.
I looked at him. He cuts the ball, so it's not perfect for him, Augusta. You kind of got to be a drawer for a right-hander, but Burns is guys that have been there. He's from the region too. Burns could be tough, man. He deserves it. He was a bit robbed in the US Open with that drop that they didn't give him in the water. So we'll see.
What I find interesting now, which is fantastic, and my wife hates it, but on YouTube, when you watch, you can follow one player. Okay. And the first thing I watched yesterday when I got home was I watched the whole Rory play 18 holes. I think he missed almost every fucking fairway. He was not on. His game was not on, but he still shot well.
That's a good sign.
And that is that's the kind of shit that gives me goosebumps when you see that stuff. And that's something that I've been fortunate that I lived right across the street from Northview, so I could go and watch the GVO, the Air Canada, and there were players that I would watch, and they'd play, on Thursday or Friday and wouldn't hit a goddamn fairway and shoot 2 under, or par.
Oh yeah.
And I go, holy shit, man, you were in jail.
Yeah.
And you got out. And last night when I watched Rory and I saw some of the shot, he was in jail a couple times. In jail, I'm saying he missed fairways on it. He was hitting from another fairway. And nothing was real close because those greens are like lightning, man. That's a tough golf course.
It's a beast.
It's a beast.
It's the ultimate.
It is.
They play it every year too, so the old guys know it.
Yeah.
So I always favor those guys.
Yeah. But you never know who gets hot. Who
Yeah.
I had I'm thinking that JJ Spawn, just simply because he won last week, and I'm going, he was striking the ball well, he was putting the ball well, he didn't make any mistakes. And whenever you're waiting in the clubhouse and you're sitting there waiting to see how you got that little thing in your head going, okay, do I have to go? Do I not have to go? What do I got to do? And then you get that. I don't have to now. So I don't.
It's crazy.
I could be wrong.
Dude.
I don't know, but it's exciting. It's exciting stuff to watch.
That's why it's exciting.
It is.
We don't know.
It is. So you said that you're still playing. You still play competitively, and you go to Monday qualifiers. Where are you playing the VGA?
I don't play locally too much, although I played a lot on the VGT with Fraser's stuff, and that was great. I'm not sure why I don't play locally so much. I think what's happening now is the teaching business has been good. I'm a good teacher. I enjoy it. I've made a little bit of money, enough to where now I can I never had money growing up playing the tour. Us West Coasters never got sponsored too much, but so I have enough money to actually go try a few events. So I kind of always wanted to be the best player in the world. And so what gives me goosebumps is going and playing those events. So I go and I chase. I've done a few Mondays last year before.
Where?
I've done Hawaii the last couple years, and I got through. There's pre-qualifiers now. There's so many young players that there's actually pre-qualifiers to get into the Monday qualifier. So I got through the pre-qualifiers almost most of the time, which is pretty good. I was pretty pleased. And then the Mondays, you're going against about 80, 3/4 of them are tour players that their number didn't get in, and 4 guys make it. So I haven't got through that yet, but I've been close a couple times, and game's good. I mean, I'm close, so I'm going to keep doing it, and I have a bit of a different outlook. I just, kind of had a couple tough years, and I tried to figure out really what I want, and I like playing golf, so I'm just going to go enjoy it and turn it. If I don't make it, turn it into a vacation. So I did Phoenix, I did, Hawaii, these kind of vacation-y spots. Utah, I almost got in about 4 months ago. I played with Sudarshan Yalamaraju, who was a super hot young player.
Actually, Winnipeg kid who moved to Mississauga.
Winnipeg kid, yeah.
Taught himself. Is it true that he taught himself?
He did, yeah. I talked with him all the way around. Actually, there was a guy that after playing with him, I thought he was going to be a real deal, and he has been. And the reason is he's super focused. He's just got that. There's something about playing with him. He hit it great. His swing's not great, but he hit it fantastic. But he just had, when I played with him, I just don't remember playing with someone who seemed to be so together with his full game, himself, his whole thing. I just thought he was going to be real good. And here we are. He's just looks great.
You say, the thing is, I call that being comfortable in their own skin.
Totally.
Like going, like, I'm cool with this. Like,
totally.
I'm good. And he, even in the post, was after the players. When he finish in the top 10 in the players?
Finished 6th in the players.
Yeah. And
5th.
Going, okay. And the way he conducted himself was okay. And now I'm going to ask you this question. It just popped into my head. I don't know if you're a righty or a lefty. Are you right-handed?
Righty.
You're right-handed. Is it my imagination, or are there more southpaws playing on the tour now than there ever were? Is it anecdotal?
Certainly.
I think there's more lefties.
I never really thought about it that way. I didn't think you were going to ask me that, but that's true.
I'm just, because it's like I see guys and I go, Jesus, because it was an anomaly when I was a kid.
Yeah, I got an answer.
Okay.
I think back then there weren't many left-handed clubs around.
Yeah.
And I think nowadays you can get a left-handed set if you feel lefty. We got lefties for you.
So before you had to, it was like being in
righty.
school.
I'm a lefty.
Yeah. You right, left-handed?
I right-handed. I play hockey left. I play baseball left. I shoot left, basketball.
But you play golf right?
Play golf right. I can do both with most sports except hockey, but yeah.
See, and I with me, when I grew up in my dad was a hunter, fisher. And I remember I had to take a hunter safety course when I was little in order to be able to go hunting with them and shit. And I couldn't hit a target. And the reason is that I was trying to shoot right-handed and I was looking out my left eye. And then I went, and like I was almost in tears, right?
Interesting.
And I'm going, Jesus. And I come home and Dad's like, well, I shoot left-handed. I go, but you golf right-handed and you play hockey right-handed. Yeah, but I shoot a gun left-handed. I've always shot a gun left-handed. What the hell? Like
crazy.
So crazy, eh? So you go, okay, well, what? So we're all like, that makes sense that there wasn't left-handed golf clubs.
I think that's got to be the reason. I mean, I've heard a few other things of why there's so many in Canada, this and that, because of hockey. But, or I think that's what it is. But yeah, there's golf clubs now. If you're left-handed, like I teach, and it's like, I'm going to find, like, even if you're right-handed and you don't look real comfortable, I got a left-handed club for you. Let's try lefty.
Swing.
Yeah.
Try it. Give it a try.
Totally.
And we're probably, and I've seen guys, I've played with people that they're right-handed and they putt left-handed. You go, okay, well, how the hell does that work? How does that work?
It's a good question.
And
I've seen that too.
There's some odd things, and it used to. And golf's such a, it's such a game that it's all the tradition and shit. Like what I mean? Like kind of, it's very much like that, and that's good. I like that because it might be the only bastion left of civility.
Sure. Fair.
We hope, right?
Agreed.
Like where it's a like. Don't be an asshole.
Just don't be an ass.
Just don't be an ass. Yeah. Try and be a good person when you're on the golf course. Like really,
It's not easy sometimes.
It's not
man.
easy. I'll tell you this because,
Jeez.
you know, yeah. So
There's enough stories that can prove that. That's for sure.
I participated in, you know,
Yeah.
a couple of.
You see YouTube now, all these
Oh,
fights. Fights on YouTube on the golf course. And I can actually, you know what? I can understand it. I've been on there and you're just on edge. You're playing bad. The group's slow in front of you. Boom.
Yeah.
Here we go.
That is, I have, you know, my son, one of my sons is, he's a member at Beach Grove. And I'm not like, he took me there. I've told this story before. He took me there the first time and he's like questioning the way I'm dressed. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, but I'm like, I'm not going to spend 5 hours out in the golf course. I'm not. What are you guys playing, the Ryder Cup? Come on, let's move it along here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're not, and I start losing my shit. And then it gets into my head, and then you're like blaming the guys in front of you and all that kind of shit. And whereas you take a deep breath, look around you, smell the breeze, hear the birds chirping. There's really not, and if you play now, that's a question. I'm segueing into a question, Matt, for you. When you're playing tournament golf, sometimes the rounds can be quite lengthy.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do to, like, I had, it was Tim Wilson we were talking to, and he was telling a story about how he was golfing. He was, you know, playing tour golf on the Canadian tour. And there's a guy, he's like got a book out. And he's like, what are you doing? Oh, that's a bird book.
Birding. Yeah.
You know,
some birding.
What do you do? Like, what do you do when things,
I'm fast. So it's,
or does it
was brutal for me when I was on tour because I was super fast, the fastest player on tour. They used to all say that. You know, I can't remember how I got through it, to be honest, because I was so impatient. Now, as I'm older, it could be 6 hours and I'm still quick and it doesn't bother me at all. But if it's 4.5 hours at Langara this afternoon, I'm going to lose my shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be angry at the group in front of us, who's not even slow because it's just slow everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
The other day, I was playing McCleary and it was slow and I was getting frustrated and I was getting hot and sweaty.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up getting a cold, I think, from it. I caught a cold. I'm like just getting over it now because I got angry.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, for some reason in tournaments, I guess I'm a veteran now. I know how to, it just doesn't, I don't let it bother me. I think it's just from playing for so long, you eventually are like, well, good. I'm glad it's slow. It's going to piss everybody else off. Mm-hmm. It's not going to bother me. I got a game to play. I don't care if this takes 8 hours. I'm going to shoot a good score today. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, in that 20 minutes in between shots, I don't know what I do, but I know it doesn't bother me anymore. Mm-hmm. So, and that slow play has been a real epidemic. Everybody whines about it. I don't whine about it anymore.
Mm-hmm. What do you think the biggest perpetuator, what drives that slow play? What I have my own opinions. I'm asking you what,
what drives it? I guess people just wanting to be perfect, wanting to play good golf. There's you see the guys on TV nowadays, and I teach a lot of juniors, and this is certainly true of juniors. They go through the routines of the PGA Tour players, and they think that's how you get good. And it's like, no, man, it's actually almost the opposite. Just go hit the ball. Get that instinct going.
Do you remember when Sergio Garcia started?
Oh, the waggles.
Oh.
Yeah.
Other guy, it was just painful.
Oh, he drove my dad nuts. I couldn't watch TV with him.
Yeah,
he couldn't handle it.
Like, that's 1, 2, 16, 17.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I had a little bit of that in my last few years on the Canadian tour where I couldn't really pull the trigger. I was pulling away and I'm like, it's super embarrassing. Mm-hmm. You know, everybody's like, come on, buddy, what are you doing there? And it's like, I'm trying to hit it. But because I'm playing for money and I don't, whatever, mm-hmm. I need to hit this shot good, mm-hmm. and I'm not ready to hit it. I can't hit this shot until I'm ready, and I'm not ready. So And then it gets worse and worse, becomes a habit like anything. Next thing you know, you're waggling it 35 times and you're driving everybody nuts. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know what he did to fix that.
Somebody did some. Well, obviously people were saying stuff to him.
Sure.
So he figured it out.
It's going to come to a point.
Yeah. Where you just can't do that.
Exactly.
You cannot do that continuously. Dude,
Correct.
that was probably the most brutal thing to watch. Was like, my God.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine playing with that?
Oh.
And you being an impatient, like you're quick going.
Oh, I used to remember guys like that. But as I said, I was a bit like, I was fast, but then I couldn't pull the trigger. I'm ready to go, but now I'm like, I would do the back away, like the Keegan. Like Keegan Bradley's super annoying.
Yeah, because he'll look like he's going to, and then he walks.
And then he backs away. Yeah, he's like, it's almost like he's stalking something, right? And then he backs away. He's like, no, I'm not going to kill that now, right? And I was like that. I'm telling you, I know what it's like because I'm such a feel player that I would look at that pin so determined and see my shot so exact and be so dialed in with what I'm doing, I lost it. Got to go back. Right. So you just I mean, the answers of what to do isn't obvious, but the answer of what you're doing is obvious. You're trying too hard. Chill out and hit the ball, but that's not what we're doing at the time.
So you played on the nationwide tour too.
No, I played an event out there.
Okay.
Yeah, I qualified for an event, but yeah.
Where?
Calgary.
In Calgary.
Yeah, it was great. And I won a 10 person playoff for one spot.
Wow.
And it was funny. I was Calgary. It was dark. It was freezing. And everybody was getting ready for this par 3. It was the first playoff hole. There's 10 of us. Everybody was freezing. And they were all stretching and getting warmed up. But it was 16. I had just played the hole. I came up a club short. So I'm like, I'm hitting 7-iron. Wind's the same. I know the shot I'm going to hit. It's freezing. I just sat huddled because we were the last group because there was 3 groups that went out, 10 of us. And I just hit my 7-iron. I went up. My first swing was the shot. I knew what I was doing. I hit it 10 feet. I get up there and my ball moves. Nobody's made birdie. I'm the last guy to go. I'm 10 feet for birdie and my ball moves as I address it. There's a bunch of people watching. Everybody says, oh, his ball moved. And they all wanted to be out because they had their buddies and they wanted the thing to keep going. So a famous old player, Rob McMillan, was also in the, Rob's from Winnipeg too, I believe.
That name sounds very
Oh no, he was the man growing up. Yeah. He vouched for me. He said, no, he hadn't addressed it. And so it was him that allowed me to hit that putt for birdie. I rolled it in and got into that event. Played pretty good actually, but
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So now you're teaching out in Richmond at Savage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Colchina as well.
And Colchina.
Yeah.
What would you say the majority of your students or your I guess you call them students. That's what you call when you're a teacher. You call them students. There's nothing else. Are juniors, older people, younger people, women, men? Like what's your
juniors?
Juniors?
Yeah, I like teaching kids. I don't have any kids, but I'm good with kids. I like being around them, and I just seem to. I'm certainly have a connection with. Their development. I work on, I used to work with kind of autistic kids and similar types. And I kind of felt I was just pretty good at that. And same with kids. I just seem to, yes, I teach them technique and all that. That's obvious. But I really kind of pride myself on seeing a kid that doesn't have a lot of confidence, doesn't really know who they are, is kind of a little scared, and I can bring them out of their shell and kind of get them going a bit. And it feels good to do that.
When young kids come to you, do they already have a preconceived notion of what golf is?
Most of my students, being young kids, they've got no idea and they couldn't care less. They're just generally they're there because young kids generally don't want to play golf. That's not their first choice. But Yeah, so they really don't have much of a thought. They don't know much, a lot of them.
which isn't a bad thing.
Not a bad thing. That's true. They're open. They're open to learning because they don't know anything. Like, yeah, no, you teach me.
Yeah.
So so I teach them, and that's it.
Are another question. Are the kids that are coming to you, are they new to golf in meaning that their parents not into golf and they just go, listen, you know what, you need to do this, or are they already golfers?
I'd say most of them aren't golfers and their parents aren't golfers. Most of my students. So that's probably why my first question was answered the way it was. They're like, we love what golf stands for, the parents, and we want our kid to be involved in golf, but we know nothing about it. Come on, coach, teach this guy how to do it. And so that's what happens. So it's kind of it's not the way I learn. I mean, I just find it so different now teaching kids compared to the way we grew up. It's like they're not into it, but they're learners. A lot of these young kids, I find young people are good learners nowadays.
Mm-hmm. And there's no, I guess there's when you're teaching, do they ever question you? Like, do they say, you know what, Matt, like, you're full of shit?
They do. Really? Sometimes. Yeah. I actually like it. I love questions. And, I like when people call me on stuff. It's like, cool. Yeah. You're comfortable. You just told me to F off or whatever. Right. Like I remember I had a kid when I was teaching in North Van. What did he say? I think I called him a dork or something. And he goes, Matt, you're a dork. He said to me. And the way he said it was so funny, man. I thought, good for you, pal.
Yeah.
Don't let anyone tell you what's up.
I remember, and I've told this story ad nauseum, especially in golf, someone who's trying to teach you the game, I have a shitty 10-finger grip. I don't interlock. I don't. And there's a reason I don't. I was fortunate that the pro that was teaching me, I swing a club. Okay. And then he goes, swing the club, dance with who brought you. That feels good. Do it. Hit it again. Do that again. You do that again. You do that again. Now, I also know that I can change shit. Like I can change, but I usually end up going back all the time. And with teaching, that's why I admire golf instruction, especially with young kids, juniors, because there's way more shit out there for them to absorb and get opinionated on. But at the same time, your job as a teacher is to say, okay, like you made a comment earlier about you just know when you see somebody, right? You just know that this is something, that this is how you should be doing. This is what you should try this. Just try this. And it is interesting when you do that and you see the result and they see the result and go, okay, well, maybe he's not full of shit. Maybe he does know what he's talking about. And I think that I believe golf is such a unique game that no one is identical with the way they do things. Like it just isn't. Like there's the one thing that I will say is this, that the more you practice something, the more reps you get at it, whatever it is, you're probably going to get better. Like you probably are.
Probably a good way to think about it.
Right? You know, unless you're doing it god awful over and over and over again, which is insanity. But if you're getting a good result doing whatever it is that you're doing, then you should keep doing it. And I'm not talking about doing drugs or drinking and all that kind of shit. I'm talking about golf is unique in that respect, in that there's nothing, each student that you have they're not the same. They're it's like I used to, with hockey, when the Montreal Canadiens used to win all the time. I hated the Montreal Canadiens. I did. I really did. But you don't need a coach. They're a good team. No, you actually do need a coach. And the reason you need a coach is that some players need an apple. They're like, or some need a cube of sugar. Some might need a pat on the back. Some might need a kick in the ass. Some might need a smack in the head. Whatever it is, they need that. Okay, they need that. Like you were saying that when you showed up, you'd show up late, almost purposely late, because that would get things going for you. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Like you're right. Like me getting there too early, it ain't a good thing. Like I got too much time on my hands.
Much.
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah.
I'm not like I get, not that I want to be,
Yeah, no question. Oh, I've been there.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember running to the first tee with one shoe. Couldn't find the other shoe. I got there, I hit with one shoe, went back and grabbed the other shoe, and away we went. Crazy.
So your teaching, what's like, if you were to name a couple of things that's really fundamental to your teaching, like your philosophy of teaching, what would they be?
Certainly what you just said. I really like to get a sense of the person in front of me and go from there. I don't have it's funny. Most successful junior coaches that teach like competitive juniors have a system that they stick to. And that's, they seem to be very successful doing that because it's simple. They know their system. They know how to work with it. So it does quite well. And that's fine. I actually like that. What I don't like about that is I don't think you get all the way to the end with that. You end up, you're going to have to probably do something. Sometimes the system will coach a little bit of the passion out of the kid. So, everybody learning kind of one way and they all look good, but I find those kids don't seem to play later because they sort of didn't develop their own kind of authentic connection to the sport. They're doing it someone else's way. And so they don't keep going. I mean, it's that people really keep going because of a deep connection to whatever they're doing. I mean, obviously. So for me, I've had to develop a system for sure. But naturally I don't do well following it. I work with the person in front of me and I figure out a blueprint for that person in front of me. So oftentimes it'll be, sometimes you could get a little bit off because you're kind of going your own way with everybody. But I think that, I'm going to leave the kid when they move on, they're going to have a little more, they're going to play the game when they're older, they're going to stay with it and they might leave it in college or have kids or whatever. But I just think it grows the game a little bit better when you allow a kid to kind of get a bit of more of a personal lesson to them. Also, they might, if you're talking someone to actually go play touring pro, get to that level, I think a system kind of takes that out, that extra grit that you need to kind of learn. Having said that, I guess it's up to the kid. I mean, I'm almost giving more credit to the coach than is deserved. It's up to the kid. So that's probably a good thing too. I've lost a few students doing this, but I want the kids to struggle a bit. I know growing up, I always learned the most. It was amazing. Always learned the most when I was struggling. We kind of know that as we get older, when things are going well, you're not learning as much as when they're not. And when I ended up winning that big event, I was struggling. I had no money and I was getting I remember being at Savage Creek. It used to be called Pacific Golf back in the day. And I just didn't know what was going on. And I was on the range. I said, I'm going to figure this out today. And I spent I was there all day and night. And I finally figured it out. I ended up going to Victoria. I shot 64 in the final round, had enough money to go to Edmonton, where I went to Edmonton and I won that week. And it was because of that struggle where I was like, you know what? I've had enough. I'm going to go figure this out. And so I just think that's what really, the kids have to struggle a bit.
You need adversity.
You do need adversity, of course, right? And so a lot of times everybody wants an answer. What am I doing wrong? Well, I kind of know what you're doing wrong, but for some reason, I think you'd be good to, why don't you stay here hit 3 buckets of balls and figure it out. You can get mad. I don't care. Take a break, come back, take a break, figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now the other question I'll ask you on the junior perspective, the parental aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've used this example before. I played, I remember I was playing at Hazelmere, and I didn't figure it out till like the second hole, but the kid's dad was walking beside him with an earpiece.
With an earpiece.
Yeah, with an earpiece. And the kid had he was a good player.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, holy shit. Like that's exactly what I wouldn't want, is my dad walking along there chirping at me.
Could you imagine? I know. It would never happen back in the day.
But from those that I've talked to that are instructing junior players too, that there's like, what the hell are you doing? Like you're not. And so like, I'll ask you this question. When you have junior players, do you go to tournaments with them? Do you sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So to answer that, it's funny because I have an excellent relationship with the parents. Mm-hmm. I hear from other coaches that don't. Mm-hmm. I don't know what to tell you. That I've taught too many where I'm like, it's the parents, but I tell you right now, how can I have like all my parents are good? Because I talk with them. Mm-hmm. Said, this is how it is. I just tell them, you don't want to be like this. You don't want to have your earpiece like your guy. That doesn't help them. And I try to get it through to their head that that's not what works. And certainly that's not what's going to happen in my academy. Mm-hmm. So I honestly, I don't have a problem with it, but I hear so much. And when I go to tournaments, I see it a lot. And of course it's the parents' fault, but sometimes you don't hear anybody ever say it's the coach. The coach should be talking to the parents.
Yeah.
The coach should be letting them know how it is. Mm-hmm. They know. They should know. Maybe they don't know. Mm-hmm. Maybe they only think they know, but I know for sure that doesn't work in the end. Mm-hmm. Of course not.
It never does.
Right?
It never does.
You know what it does though? And this is what a lot of parents like. They can get the win today with that attitude. And they can get the win tomorrow, but they're not going to get when that kid goes to college, they're going to be like, oh my God, this is amazing. I don't have pops breathing down my head. This is amazing. And then away they go and they do something else.
And ultimately leads into another question. Ultimately, the amount of junior players, like the kids that you have coming to you for instruction, are they coming there to learn the game, to play the game for the rest of their life, or I'm going to be a pro?
Yeah.
I know that might be like that. Yeah. That's a out of left field question, but at the same time, like I didn't start like, playing hockey, baseball or whatever. You go, okay, well, how good is good until you get to the next level and you go, wow, that's really good. And there's a whole level of another good.
Well, you nailed it. This is what I run into less with my juniors and more with my adversaries that, or just some people that I hear now that I teach, I hear people tell me, oh, there's another coach. He played on the tour. It's like, I'm sure he didn't, but anyways, every coach has played on the tour apparently and had this great career. And it's like, no, I would know them if they played on the tour. There's a couple that have, and I know them. So, yeah, it's a tough one. Well,
so what I was saying is the young players that come to you, if they have the thought, or the parent has the thought, I'm putting them into golf instruction to become a professional golfer, or just to play the game and learn it.
So it's funny. I do teach, I teach sort of the Western student and also a lot of Asian students. And to talk about the kind of the sort of Asian thought on it, I'll teach their kids a little younger, and they want to push their kid, and there's a bit of a thought here that they're a little too pushy. The Asian culture might be a little too pushy on younger kids. And really what's happening there is that they want their kid to be exposed to all this stuff early so they can figure out when it's game time what they're good at. And I kind of like it.
That's not a knock.
No, that's definitely not a knock. So here you got this young kid, say Asian kid, that doesn't know. These kids don't know what they want. We act like let him do whatever he wants. He doesn't know what he wants. She doesn't know what she wants. So they need a little structure. Throw them in hockey. Throw them in whatever. Oh, they're good at gymnastics or whatever. And okay, now because in the Asian culture, schooling's super important.
Yes. Yeah.
So when they're 14, 15, 16, it's go time in academics. Yeah. So they better well have figured out what their extra might be. So that's why they go into everything young and they go hard young. It's not because they necessarily want to they're so pushy. They just want their kid to have it all figured out.
And exposed.
Exposed
to whatever that.
Oh, you don't like that? Okay, that's great. We'll move on.
And that's.
Why don't we ever learn from what they do?
You're right.
They learn from us and we don't learn. It's
That's
like, come on, guys.
Yeah, you're right. You're correct. You're correct. And I certainly I've seen that having my children, athletic, playing at a high level ball.
There you go.
And playing at a high level hockey and sports and seeing that they take, there's the education is so important, which and the idea of exposing to as much as you possibly can, and then you get your game face on for whatever that is. And that, I know that like when the kids were going to school, they had to have tutors. A couple of them had to have math tutors.
So did I.
Yeah. And it was always an Asian guy teaching.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean,
let's just, and
no question.
And he'd be usually wearing a Philadelphia Flyer hockey jersey.
Sure. Exactly.
Just loving talking to my son about hockey kind of thing. But the thing is, he learned.
Yes.
He learned trig functions and shit like
exactly.
that stuff that I couldn't teach him.
Yeah, it worked well for him growing up.
Exactly. It worked well for him. It certainly did. So now I want to get into some funny stuff here, some talking here. What's the wildest thing that you've seen on the golf course?
Jeez. I always had good buddies out there, and we were always a little rough. And so most of my stories aren't very good here, I guess. But
craziest thing.
Well, one of the weird one is when I won on that tournament I won, I was coming out of nowhere. And I go to Edmonton, and my buddy had a friend of his pick me up at the airport, and he had the best music going. It was my favorite band. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be amazing. What a week. And then I'm listening to the radio, and another buddy of mine, his friend is on the sports radio, and I'm listening to it going to the event, and he's going, yeah, I got this, my buddy's got a guy in town. His name's Matt Daniels, coming from Vancouver. Nobody knows who I am. I was kind of a nobody at the time. And he goes, he's going to win the event this week. And everybody, I didn't think anything of it. I hadn't made a cut in ages. I finally played well the week before. And then sure enough, I go ahead and win the event, and he watched every hole. It was unbelievable. This whole crew followed me all the way. I was 2 over through 3 holes in that event. And my buddy's crew showed up they all had backpacks and they were ready to go. And they showed up on the 4th hole. I was 2 over. And from that point on, I shot 23 under for the next however many holes. Yeah. And this crew followed me all the way around, screaming and yelling. It was just the greatest week.
That's kind of serendipity, right? Just
no question.
Just it's meant to be.
Sure seemed like it.
It's meant to be.
Oh, it was amazing.
So in the now I'm going to ask you another question here. You've played a lot of golf. You played a lot of tournament golf. Who have you played with that you've kind of been a head scratcher? Like you go, Jesus, this guy can't be for real.
Yeah. I remember, we had a guy in in the U.S. Open qualifier in Seattle one year, and he was on the practice range. I got there and he had all army fatigues on. I'm like, it's crazy. And I just thought, well, there's no way this guy's for real. Like, there's some weird stuff, but this guy's not even close. And then he got on the range and he hit it horribly. Then he ended up teeing off in front of me, and they kicked him off the course after 2 holes. He made like a 12 and like a 10, like no kidding. And then kicked him off the course. 5 hours later, I come in after the round and he's in the clubhouse. And he's got his head down and he looks like he's going to blow the place up. We don't know what's going on with this guy. And he wouldn't leave. They tried to ask him to leave. He wouldn't leave.
Still in the Army fatigue?
Still full gear, huge boots on. Like, it was the weirdest thing. But that happens in the U.S. Open qualifiers.
Because anybody can.
Yeah, you just fudge your handicap, say you're 0 or whatever, and away you go. So we've had that a lot. But this guy, like, we were worried. Dude.
So last thing here, getting down to what are your thoughts on the current structure of professional golf? And I'll speak specifically to like the Live Tour and the PGA. And then you don't have a Canadian tour anymore. You've got the PGA Tour Americas. Like, I always get that wrong. You got a bunch of mini tours. You got all kinds of things going on. Do you think, and I'll put this question to you, do you think there needs to be, like, is it good the way it's structured right now? Meaning that it's good to have the Live Tour and the PGA Tour? Because I look at it, I grew up in Winnipeg. We didn't have an NHL team. We had the Winnipeg Jets and the WHA started, and then there was a couple of teams that made it into the NHL. And is that good every once in a while to shake up the sport? But there's also, it's, I don't know how you would, like golf to be at the top, like to make it at that level now, you got to be so goddamn good, and everything needs to be firing. And I'm not suggesting that's unfair, but is there a I guess I'm asking, I don't think people are losing interest in golf, but I also will say this, that it's one of my big issues is accessibility to the game, like the ability to be able to play for young people to be able to play and afford to play. Because it's not, you got no money. It's pretty hard to play. It's a tough
thing right now. I mean, I've been doing these Mondays, like I've been saying, down south, and to go from that to offer this, I don't hear many people talk about it like this, but there's so many people trying to qualify for these events now compared to there used to be. It's hard to fathom. I was in Phoenix. There was 12 pre-qualifiers to get into the Monday qualifier to try and qualify for the Phoenix Open. 12. There used to be no pre-qualifiers. Some now there's 1, 2, or 3. There was 12. They were full. So there was 120 players times 12, whatever that math is. All those guys, 2 guys advance from those to get into the Monday. So I'm flying to Phoenix and I shoot 67 and I go home. But I needed to shoot 62, 65 in order to get in. Point being, there's so many players now, it's unbelievable. And then Liv comes along. I mean, Liv was, Norman's been trying to start his own tour forever, right? Yeah. But, I'm a real major sports fan, and all these sports, basically, they're about 50-50. 50 goes to the league and 50 goes to the players. They're all like that. PGA Tour, I think, was like, they were giving out like 25%. I don't know what it was. I don't want to throw an exact number, but it was like way less. And so you got caught, and you were greedy, and you weren't paying out your players enough. And so Liv came along, and they did what they did. And then what does the PGA Tour do? They raise their rates huge. Yeah. Their purse is huge. So I don't know. I think they kind of got caught being a bit greedy. Maybe it was just Norman. that always wanted to do something, and they didn't kind of let them do that. But so then you tie that into the fact that there's so many players now, and now the tour is copying Live by making less players available to each event.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm almost a senior now. They've removed Champions Tour qualifying school. That's no longer a thing, which is like.
And they also say that you had to be American or play on the PGA or something like that.
You do. There is something like that. Like, well, basically you can't, there's no qualifying school anymore because of the non-Americans winning. Steve Alker coming in and whatever. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, there's it seems like they're giving you, there's all these guys. I said there was like, what's that? 120, 12. There's about 1,500 guys wanting to qualify for the Phoenix Open, and now that's gone. Mm-hmm. All these qualifiers that I used to play in, half of them are gone now. They're just closed shops. So you got more players by like 400% more players, and now you're making the fields less. Mm-hmm. I mean, I get it. Like Live had smaller tour. We kind of copied Live, and it does make sense that you go down to 120. Their excuse was they weren't able to fit enough. Too many tournaments were going late. Mm-hmm. There's a few other reasons, but it just, I mean, back to the Champions Tour thing, they've removed the qualifying school for Champions Tour. It's like, that's the great American dream. It's like, well, what is there's almost not a better American dream than when you get older, you can still, it's the joke, right? Oh, you can still try and qualify for the senior tour. No, you can't even do that.
No, you can't.
No, you can't.
Shut the door on it.
Shut the door. Close shop. So it's just disappointing. And I know some of the reasons why. And I mean, business is business, mm-hmm. Economics of it, all that. But it's just disappointing. I think long-term, I don't think it's the right call. Mm-hmm. I think it's just a bit of a greedy move at the beginning. And maybe these, Tiger's involved, all these guys are involved. I don't know. Maybe they don't know what they're talking about. Yeah. They think they do, but I think deep down it's not going to work that way. I think people want to see Joe Schmo with a chance.
Yeah, with a shot.
Yeah.
With a shot. Okay, final shout out to you have a website. You have what's your website if somebody wanted to?
Mm-hmm. Playlikeagolfpro.com.
Okay,
and
perfect.
It's Matt Daniel Golf Academy.
Perfect. Mm-hmm. That's great. Matt, thank you so much for coming out. I appreciate it. It's been fantastic talking about golf. I encourage everyone to subscribe to Steve Tees Off, brought to you by riversidegolf.ca. Check Play Like a Pro.
Play Like a Golf Pro.
Oh, Like a Golf Pro. Matt Daniel. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Pleasure.
Man.
Great
It's been a real
meeting you.
pleasure, man.
Awesome, dude. Thank you.
You betcha.
All right.